Today on In the Woodyard, 7 reasons why I hate cutting and selling firewood. Here we go. So this morning it is still raining outside. It rained yesterday, so I wasn't able to go outside, so I worked on the saws, and so I got that done. I was going to work outside today, but it's raining yet a lot, and it's the morning, so it's supposed to quit sometime this afternoon, midday, and then maybe we'll go outside later today. But I got an idea for a video we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the reasons why I hate cutting firewood and selling firewood. Yeah, I actually have some reasons. So we're going to talk about them right now. So here we go. Reason number 7. This is reasons why I hate cutting firewood. So reason number 7, it's messy. You got junk everywhere. There's bark, there's branches, there's sawdust, there's mud. Where you work outside in the woodyard, unless you're on a hard surface, it's hard to clean up. You're constantly fighting the elements. You always got a wet, soggy, swampy area you're working in because of the heavy equipment you're driving over it, and with all the sawdust and bark and branches and all the stuff that comes off and the bugs, and it's a messy thing. And no matter how neat you try to be, it's almost impossible on a production basis to stay neat. Yeah, if you're cutting a few cords here and there for yourself, you can keep it pretty organized. But when you start doing hundreds of cords, it changes everything. The equipment gets bigger and the mess gets bigger. So it's a constant battle to get rid of the debris and the mess and stay clean and keep your work area so it doesn't end up just being a great big huge mulch bed, because that's basically what it turns into. Those of you that have watched a few other channels, you know this year has been a very wet year. Joe over in Ohio there, he's having just a heck of a time working in his swamp. He's basically working in a swamp and lake now all the time, and I feel sorry for him because they've had a lot of rain. We've had a lot, but not like him. My area that I have in back slopes pretty good, so it drains pretty good, but he's in a swamp, so I really feel sorry for you, Joe. Going to the next one. Reason number 6 I hate cutting and selling firewood. My body can't take it anymore. I'm almost 60 and everything hurts every day. If I work 4 or 5 days in a row, my hands start aching, my wrists, my shoulders. My back's pretty good usually. My back doesn't hurt too much. But it's just taking a toll. You smash your fingers a lot, you get a lot of cuts and bruises. It's a brutal thing to do hard manual labor, and firewood is all of that. If you've worked and doing manual labor your whole life, you're used to it. I mean, I've done quite a bit, but not as much as when you do a full day of firewood. If you're cutting, 8, 10, 12 hours and then stacking and moving around and hauling wood, and it's demanding on the body. And there's a part 2 to this. Part 2 on the number 6 reason why I hate doing firewood. It's hard on equipment. If you've got a nice truck, it won't be nice for very long. If you've got a nice trailer, you're going to beat the snot out of it. If you got a nice chainsaw, you're going to wear it out. It basically, you destroy equipment. It's very hard on the equipment, constantly abusing it and pushing it to its limit and getting the most out of it that you can. It's hard on equipment and it's hard on your body. They kind of go together. The more you do, the more it hurts. The more you do, the more you wear stuff out. So that's that reason. Going to the next one. Reason number 5. Because I do a fair amount of firewood now, I do a couple hundred cords a year, it takes a lot of time. So this is number 5. It sucks a lot of time away from the rest of my life. I like doing it, but I've become obsessed about it, and I just work at it every spare minute I have. So it's taking away from family time. It's taking away from fun time. It's taking away from going fishing. I used to fish a little bit. Now I don't fish hardly at all. And it takes away from my hunting time. I used to hunt basically the whole month of November and a big part of December. Now I go for a couple weeks. I have to do 2 different week vacations. I usually do 2 out west trips, and I don't even hunt hardly at all in Wisconsin anymore. I mean, it's been a couple of years since I hunted here at all. So it's taken away from my personal life quite a bit. I mean, I still really enjoy it, but that's one of the things I don't like about it, is because it is very time consuming no matter how you do it. Even if you've got big equipment, you're going to put time into it if you want to do a good job. So that's reason number 5. 4 is next. The 4th reason why I hate doing firewood. The work never ends. There's always more to do. Just when you think you're just about done, you go and do something stupid. You finish off a whole truckload and you order another one. Or if you've got a really good logger, he'll call you just about when you think you're done and he'll say, hey, I got a load of some really good stuff if you want it. Otherwise, I'm going to give it to the guy down the street. And you're like, oh, yeah, I got to have that because it's cherry, a load of cherry, or a load of hickory, or a load of birch. Those are 3 things that, for me, are hard to get and I can sell real easily. So those are the harder ones in my area to get. You're always looking for more. So I'm constantly looking for wood to go cut, looking for properties to go cut on. I'm looking on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace to find people that want wood that they want gone. It's either on their curb or they got a tree service coming in, and the tree service is bringing all the trees to the ground, and I can just go pick them up, load it to my trailer, and come back. Sometimes they're cut right to size even. So you're constantly getting more wood, and then more you do, the more people know that you do firewood. And so if they've got a tree, they're constantly calling you saying, hey, my neighbor's got a tree once down. If you want it, you can have it. Or I've got a bunch of trees that are dead in my backyard. If you want them, you can have them. I mean, it happens a lot. I got about 6 places right now I could go cut wood. It just never ends. Never. And then just about the time you think you're caught up, then the orders start coming in, and then you got to start delivering. And then that's a sprint for a couple of months of delivering wood. So the work never ends. It's like you don't get a breather hardly ever. That's why you got to really schedule vacations in and take some time off occasionally. I do a family vacation in the summer. We do a couple long weekends, and I take a couple weeks for hunting, and that's about it. Since I started doing firewood, I have a lot less free time. And then there's the whole YouTube component, which a lot of you don't know what goes into it. I put in probably 2 to 3 hours a day just on YouTube every day. Every day. Every day. I'm either editing, shooting, or I'm uploading, or I'm making thumbnails, or I'm trying to come up with ideas for more videos to do, and it adds a lot of extra time to my actual production. If I'm going to go out in the wood yard and say work for 2 hours, of those 2 hours, if I have 2 hours, I spend about 1 hour and 15 minutes of actual work. The other 45 minutes is moving cameras, starting cameras, checking cameras, making sure the mic works, and then uploading it. And it's just, it doesn't end. So I sound like a whiner, don't I? Sorry, I still like doing it. But that is an issue. Next one. Number 3. A lot of you have the same disease that I have. It's the I want disease, or I need disease, as some people call it. I just have it a want. I don't need anything except for water and air and food and a place to live, and that's about it. That's what I really need. But the wants, there's a lot of wants. You always want the newest, the biggest, the best, the fastest. You always want to be making improvements because you think, oh, if I spend $1,000 on that new saw or $1,500, whatever it is, it'll cut a little bit faster than my old one, just a little bit. So you're willing to give up $1,000, $1,500 to gain a second here and a second there, or a minute here, a minute there. And same with vehicles. You want to get a vehicle that can haul just a little bit more, a trailer that's a little bit bigger, a tractor that's a little bit stronger as far as its lift capacity, or has a better frame so you can actually lift more with it. It's just constant. You always want bigger, better, faster equipment. It's a never-ending battle. And the thing is the way the world works now, especially for us here in the United States, it's never been better. There's so much good equipment out there now. It's so competitive with all the manufacturers. I mean, there's so many different quality products in each area that you can buy. There's all kinds of different chainsaws you can buy. Each manufacturer has a couple dozen models. And then there's the tractors. There's dozens of tractor manufacturers. There's dozens of trailer manufacturers. It's just endless. And they keep coming out with new stuff because they're making small improvements, little by little, trying to leapfrog each other. And when that happens, all of a sudden, you start thinking, well, I've had this saw for 5-6 years. You know, it still works, but that new one is, you know, it's a pound lighter. Our RPM is a little bit higher. It cuts a little faster. It's better on gas. So you start thinking, I better get that, just to make a little improvement, and it never ends. Next one. Number 2, we're on to number 2 already. And this one is one that a lot of you suffer from, just like me. You're addicted. This is one of the things it's a big problem. Whatever your thing is that you do in life, and firewood is one of the things I do that I'm pretty passionate about, and a lot of you are, you become an addict. And you definitely have a problem, because I have a problem, so I know you have a problem. You talk about it all the time, you think about it all the time. When you're talking to people that don't even care, you're telling them about your firewood, or telling them about the equipment you're going to buy, or telling them about the sale you made. And then there's the people that you do know that are into firewood like you are. And oh my gosh, you know, you can make a 2-minute phone call into a half an hour discussion about some stupid little thing about wood or chainsaws or something like that, or talking about bad customers or good customers or all that stuff. It just doesn't end. I mean, I think about it all the time. I think about, you know, what I've got to do next, what I want to get done this afternoon, what my goals are, what I have to get done. Try to line up all of the schedule as far as deliveries to make sure you're going to get there on time. And you're just constantly thinking about it. It's always on your mind. And for me especially, and for some of you, if you're doing YouTube, in your spare time, before I go to bed at night, I sit on my computer and I answer comments and go over it. So I'm thinking about them. When I go to bed, I'm thinking about, oh, I should have told this guy to do that instead of this. Or, you know, maybe I overreacted to that guy's comment because he was just giving me some constructive criticism and I took it the wrong way. Maybe I should have toned it down a little bit and been a little nicer about it. So it's just always on my mind. When I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about, okay, I got to get my batteries charged, and I have them on right. That's right, I got those charged. I got to get my camera ready because I got to shoot right away in the morning because I got something else I got to do. So it's constant on my mind. We're going to number 1. It's next. So here it is. This is number 1. This is the number 1 reason why I hate cutting and selling firewood. I actually have a reason. I just wanted to see what you guys would think. Number 1 reason, and I think a lot of you would agree with this. For as much work as it is, as much effort as we put into it, it doesn't pay enough. It doesn't pay near enough. For as hard as you work to make firewood, cutting the trees down, blocking it up, loading it up, hauling it and then dumping it, splitting it, stacking it, hauling it, dumping it. It's constant work, and it doesn't end. It's just constant. For the amount of work we put into it, we're not getting paid enough. Because the average person that doesn't cut wood or sell wood, they have no concept, and you know this, they have no concept of how much work it is. Because if you work hard doing firewood, you know, running a saw for a couple hours, moving blocks, splitting wood, and if you put in like a half a day, if you only put in 6-8 hours, you're pretty tired. And if you put in a full day, 12, 16 hours, you can't walk hardly. You can hardly sit up. You can hardly lift your arms. They turn to rubber. It's a lot of work. Unfortunately, in the world, the way it works is the hardest jobs there are physically generally pay the least. Welcome to firewood. So those are my reasons. Hopefully you agreed. If you've got reasons of your own why you hate doing firewood, let me know. Put them in the comments. It'll be interesting to see if you guys come up with any things that you think are reasons to hate cutting and selling firewood. I really actually do like it, but I just thought I would kind of talk about some of the things that you think about, like, man, why am I doing this sometimes? But not all the time, just once in a while. So that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. Hit the buttons, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share thing, hit the bell thing. Do it all, and let your buddies know they should be here watching because you are, and that way you guys can talk about it more and more and more. And tomorrow I will be back in the wood yard. You should be here too. It'll be fun. Come on back. Between now and then, get outside, get cutting. Good night, Irene.